purifying flame. It nourishes us, warms us, reinvents us, forges, and destroys us.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most excessive, memorable, and creatively violent movie deaths of all time. We'll be excluding anime and won't always be able to show the exaggerated scenes in full. But otherwise, brutal or goofy, live action or animated, it's here. And full of spoilers galore, obviously. Number 100, Captain Bennett, Commando.
How's your arm, John? Come over and find out.
Say what you will about the double-crossing Captain Bennett, but he sure is persistent. This guy is shocked, beaten, almost fried alive, and still has it in him to spout off some cheesy 80s quips.
Not gonna shoot you between the eyes? Shoot you between the balls!
But not even he can take on Arnold Schwarzenegger in all his zany action hero glory. To put Bennett down for good, Schwarzenegger ends up tearing a steam pipe off the wall and using it as a makeshift javelin. It still blows air and everything. As if death by steaming impalement isn't awesome enough, Schwarzenegger proceeds to read Bennett his last rites in the form of a perfect one-liner.
Let off some steam, Bennett.
Number 99, Dr. Frank Poole, 2001, A Space Odyssey.
I've got a bad feeling about him.
You do?
Yeah, definitely.
This astronaut made two fatal mistakes in his last expedition. The first was thinking he could simply unplug the artificial intelligence HAL. The second was getting caught. Refusing to be powered off, the robot promptly cuts Frank's oxygen line, killing him and sending his body careening into the vast unknown of space.
Do you know what happened?
I'm sorry, Dave. I don't have enough information.
Like most things in 2001: A Space Odyssey, it's presented with minimal sound effects, and the silence rings louder than a scream ever could. For what it's worth, fellow astronaut Dave does brave the stars to save his comrade, but at that point, it's really just so they have something to bury. Number 98, Colonel Miles Quaritch, Avatar.
It's all over.
In his attempts to pillage Pandora, the scumbag Quaritch brought giant robots, legions of men, and a whole lot of self-absorbed hubris. However, the people of Pandora had heart, and that was more than enough to give Quaritch his due recompense.
Nothing's over while I'm breathing.
I kinda hoped you'd say that.
Neytiri gets the honors by firing not just one, but two arrows clean into the villain's chest. To punctuate the moment, Quaritch's entire mech suit falls over in suitably dramatic fashion. A 1-2 blow to the heart doesn't sound like a very fun way to go out. But given that Quaritch nearly destroyed Pandora, it's hard to feel too bad for him. Number 97, Gotham Mobster, The Dark Knight.
Give me one reason why I shouldn't have my boy here pull your head off.
How about a magic trick?
Nothing lightens the mood like a magic trick, right? The Joker certainly thinks so. When meeting with the worst of Gotham's criminal elite, he delivers an act that simply can't be followed. The Joker puts a pencil on the table, grabs a mobster's head, and voila! The pencil disappears.
It's gone.
A magician never reveals their secrets, so we'll just say that you really don't want to be the assistant in this trick. After all, it's saying something when you can phase the slimiest crooks in all of Gotham. Who knew the Joker was such a convincing illusionist?
Why don't you give me a call when you want to start taking things a little more seriously?
Number 96, Cutler Beckett, Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End.
It's nothing personal, Jack. It's just good business.
Good business, bad business, whatever. The fact of the matter is that now, Beckett isn't doing any business at all. When he tried to take control of the seas, he found himself stuck between a pirate ship and a hard place. From there, Beckett's ship gets completely blown to bits, and it's a glorious sight to behold. You've got slow-mo close-ups, you've got flying debris. Heck, you've even got exploding cannonballs just for good measure. Beckett himself is consumed with fire moments before his entire vessel goes down. Nowadays, if you want a meeting with this chairman, you'll need to commute to the bottom of the sea.
Good business.
Number 95, Benny Gabor, The Mummy.
Goodbye, Benny.
Stealing Hiding from an ancient lost city is usually a pretty bad idea, but apparently no one told Benny that. In all his infinite wisdom, he tries to loot Hamunaptra's treasures, setting off a booby trap that nearly gets everyone killed. The rest of the team escapes, but Benny isn't so lucky. As punishment for his transgressions, he becomes dinner for a very nasty swarm of carnivorous scarabs. We don't actually see the body, but since the entire city collapses in on itself soon after, odds are Benny didn't make it. Hey, at least he got a quick burial. Number 94, Grigory Rasputin, Anastasia.
Das Vidanya, Your Highness.
There's going out dramatically, and then there's Rasputin. He spent the whole film getting demons to do his bidding, and when Anastasia finally sets them free, you could say they had a bone to pick.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
In fact, by the time they're finished, Rasputin doesn't have any bones left at all. Without getting too graphic, he loses his soul, his skin, and his skeleton in a single magical zap. Animated or not, Rasputin's horrified screams are enough to leave you wondering how on earth this ever made it into a children's musical.
Das Vidanya!
Number 93, Major TJ King Kong, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Stay on the bomb run, Ace. I'm going down below and see what I can do.
Everyone wants to go out with a bang, but this bomber pilot may have taken that idea a bit too literally. Although, to be fair, Major Kong's only real crime is trying to fix the wiring on his plane's bomb doors. The good news? It works! The bomb doors open and the nuke drops. The bad news? The bomb falls while Kong is still sitting on top of it. Cheerful to the end though, Kong spends his final moment hollering like he's having the time of his life. Rest assured, this is an explosive sacrifice we won't be forgetting anytime soon.
Hey, what about Major Kong?
Number 92, Paul Oswald, Snakes on a Plane.
Does my Premium Awards membership come with sarcasm, or should I speak to your supervisor?
Karma can come in many forms. For some, it's ruined relationships. Others, it's lost money. For this high-flying jerk, it's snakes on a plane. More specifically, a giant python to the head. It sounds gratuitous, but trust us, Paul had it coming. Throughout the film, he makes it very clear that he only cares about Paul, and Paul. He even rips a dog out of a woman's arms to use as snake bait.
Freaking dog lady!
It's poetic then that the same python comes back to eat Paul for dessert. It is the best kind of bloody satisfaction. Number 91, Rod Torque Redline, Cars 2.
Could I start it now, Professor Z?
50% power.
A movie about sentient vehicles going undercover as spies sounds innocent enough, right? Well, it would be if not for this horrifying scene with Rod Redline. The American agent is captured, interrogated, and then filled with a special kind of oil that makes him go boom. Yeah, the word shocking doesn't even begin to cover it.
Smile for the camera.
Is that all you want? I got a whole act.
Don't forget, this is a Pixar film, and yet there's no sugarcoating what goes down here. They use the word kill in everything. No one could have expected that Cars 2 would have a death tally, let alone one so twisted.
Kill him.
Number 90, James One Shade and Company, Resident Evil.
Move up.
The mission here is simple. Open the door, secure what's inside. It sounds straightforward, until you realize these hallway lasers aren't just for show. Just like that, Shade and his operatives are forced into a crazy life-or-death game of limbo. Oh, and the lasers fully cheat, too. Shade shows off some slick moves trying to avoid their cutthroat touch, but by the time all is said and done, he joins his team as a pile.
Kaplan, you gotta hurry, you gotta help them!
Resident Evil can throw all the zombies it wants at us. Nothing will top the sheer brutality of this laser maze. Number 89, Farouk, Karate Girl.
Once more.
Number 88, Olivia Castle, Final Destination 5. Number 87, Dr. Facilier, The Princess and the Frog. Number 86, The Stegosaurus, Fantasia. Number 85, Thanos, Avengers Endgame.
I am inevitable.
At the start of this crossover film, the Avengers have a lot of avenging to do. Although, in Thor's case, it looks more like cold, hard retribution. When he decides Thanos is no longer of use to them, the Asgardian offs the Titan's head right then and there.
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
No warning, no mercy. Thanos just snapped away half of the universe, and yet his abrupt execution is what stands out the most. Not simply because of its ferocity, but because a freaking Avenger just decapitated someone in cold blood. Earth's mightiest heroes? More like Earth's mightiest executioners.
What did you do? I went for the head.
Number 84, The Librarian, Kill List.
Thank you. Thank you.
Number 83, Elevator Hitman, Drive. Number 82, Rory Peters, Final Destination 2.
Rory!
Number 81, Maleficent, Sleeping Beauty. Number 80, Scar, The Lion King.
Tell them the truth.
Truth, but truth is in the eye of the beholder.
You mess with the lion, you get the claws. Scar tried his best to be prepared, but after Simba reclaimed Pride Rock, his dictator past came around to bite him in the butt. Literally. Remember all those hyenas he once ordered around? They're back, they're hungry, and they are itching for some revenge.
It's the hyenas who are the real enemy.
There's no way to Hakuna Matata your way out of something this vicious. The movie thankfully pans up before things get too gnarly, but the shadowy outline is still enough to convince us that Scar's death wasn't quick, and it was not painless.
Be prepared!
Number 79, The Killer, Hush. Number 78, Alfred, Hudson Hawk.
Hey, Alfred.
Number 77, Norman Stansfield, Leon the Professional. Number 76, Captain Henry Rhodes, Day of the Dead. Number 75, Sonny Corleone, The Godfather.
Listen, you wait there.
Let's break down the facts. Sonny Corleone, gangster extraordinaire, is ambushed in his car and shot. He manages to get outside and is shot some more. After that, Sonny falls to the ground where he, you guessed it, continues to be shot at. Then, to really grind salt into the wound, Sonny gets a good old kick to the face, too. As you can probably surmise, this entire scene is a jaw-dropping display of excessive force. But, in a way, Sonny should take that as a compliment. It took a hell of a bullet storm to take the eldest Corleone down for good.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Number 74, Paul Cerrone, Anaconda. Number 73, Barry Convex, Videodrome. Number 72, Richmond Valentine, Kingsman, The Secret Service. Number 71, Prom Goers, Carrie. Number 70, The Illuminati, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Black Bolt could destroy you with one whisper from his mouth.
What mouth? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, especially when that woman is a hex witch on a warpath. To prove it, Wanda Maximoff carved a bloody trail through the multiverse in search of her kids, eventually ending up at the Illuminati's front door. It did not go well for them. Black Bolt lost his head, and Mr. Fantastic looked like he went through a shredder. Oh, and Peggy Carter? She got divided in half by her very own shield. The list goes on, each murder gorier, scarier, and more insane than the last. Evidently, they don't call Wanda the Scarlet Witch for nothing.
Get the hell out of my universe!
Number 69, Celia, Megan. Number 68, Karen, Cabin Fever. Number 67, Eldon Tyrell, Blade Runner. Number 66, Commander Lyle Tiberius Rourke, Atlantis, The Lost Empire. Number 65, Edward Malis, The Wicker Man.
And that, my friend, is your destiny.
It is your destiny.
The movie may be legendary for all the wrong reasons, but this maligned horror remake has an unrated alternate ending that everyone needs to see at least once. It all comes down to two tiny words: the bees.
No, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah!
This is Nicolas Cage at his most unhinged, and it is truly something. Admittedly, it's probably hard to stay grounded when you're being tortured by bees and set ablaze in a giant wicker man. But Cage leans so far into the absurdity, the whole thing comes off as an unintentional farce. For better or worse, there's no escaping the legacy of the bees.
The drone must die! The drone must die!
Number 64, Lord Shen, Kung Fu Panda 2. Number 63, Tatum Riley, Scream. Number 62, Krug, The Last House on the Left. Number 61, Nora Carpenter, Final Destination 2. Number 60, Adolf Hitler and Joseph Goebbels, Inglourious Bastards. Writer-director Quentin Tarantino is known for his overblown violence, and the third act of Inglourious Bastards is no exception.
It's your best friend this year.
Then again, what else would you expect from a film about assassinating two of the most infamous Nazis in history?
I have a message for Germany.
Right after the Jewish Shoshana hijacks Hitler's movie screening, the entire theater erupts in flames. The doors are barred too, and people are raining bullets from above. All the while, Shoshana's pre-taped footage is actually laughing at them. Then, as the cherry on top, the whole building ends up exploding. Yeah, the climax of Inglourious Bastards is a lot, but coming from Tarantino, that's hardly surprising. Number 59, Stans, Predators.
Come on! Come on! Come on!
Number 58, Howard Payne, Speed. Number 57, Lord Farquaad, Shrek.
I will have order! I will have perfection! I will hide!
Number 56, The Horned King, The Black Cauldron. Number 55, Military Police Officers, The Mist.
So, any boogeyman?
Arachnophobes, beware. This is not the movie for you. Despite the name, the titular fog isn't actually the scariest part of this movie. It's what lives in it. Namely, the giant mutant spiders that like to eat military police officers. You see, the creatures don't just web up their prey, they utterly infest them.
Oh God. Oh God. No.
All we'll say is that by the time the civilian survivors mount a rescue operation, the mother's eggs have already hatched. Whatever you're thinking of, it's worse. Trust us. The Mist definitely gets points for creativity, even if the final result is hard to watch. Number 54, Ashley and Ashlyn, Final Destination 3. Number 53, Adrian Thomas, Jason X. Number 52, Ursula, The Little Mermaid. Number 51, Christian, Midsommar. Number 50, General Zod, Man of Steel.
There's only one way this ends, Cal. Either you die or I do.
Of all heroes, it's most shocking of all to see Superman with a kill count. But if that doesn't take your breath away, the actual scene will do the trick, no question. At the end of Man of Steel, Superman is given a choice: save an innocent family or put Zod in the ground.
Don't do this!
One sickening neck crack later, he's made his decision. That's right, Superman, a symbol of hope and peace, murders Zod with his bare hands. It's a gut-wrenching moment, both in its gruesomeness and what it means for Clark's character. We could try to sum it up, but Superman's grief-stricken roar says it all. Number 49, Frank D'Amico, Kick-Ass.
Hey, why don't you pick on someone your own size?
Number 48, Howard Saint, The Punisher. Number 47, Steve Hadley, The Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, come on!
Number 46, Ernesto de la Cruz, Coco. Number 45, Lucas Flannery, Transformers, Age of Extinction.
Lucas, above you! Run!
In the midst of all the giant fighting robots, it's sometimes easy to forget the little guy. Lockdown didn't though, and he greeted Lucas and the other humans the Decepticon way, that being a massive grenade to the face. In true Transformers fashion, there's enough slow-motion explosives to last you a lifetime. To say nothing of the actual carnage. One moment Lucas is running for his life, and the next, he is a skeleton of ash. Since humans are defenseless against the Decepticons, this whole charade feels wholly unnecessary. But at least Lucas got to go out with a real blaze of glory.
It's the American thing to do.
Number 44, Agent Whiskey, Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Number 43, Damien Cockburn, Tropic Thunder.
Now, let's go and make the greatest war movie ever!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Number 42, Mike, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Number 41, August Walker, Mission Impossible Fallout. Number 40, Team 1, The Suicide Squad.
Savant is off the rails.
Savant turned back.
With a name like that, it's really no surprise that Task Force X has a high turnover rate. But that number goes way up when Amanda Waller sends an entire squad to their deaths as a diversion. Washing up on a beach right into an enemy ambush, the unlucky schmucks of Team 1 are shot at, blown apart, shredded by a falling helicopter, set on fire, and so much more. Keep in mind, this is just the first few minutes of the film. Based on that average, you won't find such a high volume of eccentric deaths anywhere else.
Damn it.
Number 39, James Franco, This Is the End.
You may not have invited me to your party, but you're the guest of honor at mine.
Number 38, Major Vic Deke Deakins, Broken Arrow. Number 37, Senator Aaron McComb, Time Cop. Number 36, Georgie Denbrough, It. Number 35, The Assassins, John Wick, Chapter 4.
Good news, buppers. The lottery just went up.
As if he wasn't stylish enough before. In this fourth entry, John Wick gets a new toy by the name of a Dragon Breath shotgun. Long story short, it shoots fire. Seriously. What follows is a one-sided massacre that's too electric to look away from for even a second. Presented in one take from a novel top-down perspective, John dispatches the army of assassins with finesse, flair, and, of course, fire. Is it a tad extravagant? Absolutely. But from a franchise as consistently entertaining as John Wick, that's the way we like it.
Last chance to win the prize before Mr. Wick's last sunrise.
Number 34, David, Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun.
Number 33, Captain Darrow, The Rock.
It's you. You're the Rocket Man.
Number 32, Hopper, A Bug's Life. Number 31, Ethan Rourke Jr., Sin City. Number 30, Zara, Jurassic World.
They're approaching the west gate. I'm headed there now. Okay. Stay right there.
Apparently, dinosaurs don't know the meaning of the word overkill. During the initial breakout at Jurassic World, poor Zara is plucked from the crowd by a raging pteranodon. She is dropped midair, grabbed by another pteranodon, dropped yet again, and just when you think she's finally seen the worst of it, a mosasaurus pops out of the water and swallows her whole. It's so needlessly overblown, it's almost funny. The same can be said for Simon Masrani, who crashes a helicopter that then proceeds to explode. Just cuz. Suffice it to say, neither of these characters appeared in the sequel.
We don't need anyone else.
Number 29, Emil Antonovsky, RoboCop. Number 28, The X-Force, Deadpool 2.
X-Force?
Number 27, Tony Montana, Scarface. Number 26, Cyrus the Virus Grissom, Con Air. Number 25, Kim Jong-un, The Interview.
I have an idea. Follow me.
In the final minutes of this satirical comedy, James Franco and Seth Rogen realize the only way to stop a nuclear war is to blow Kim Jong-un out of the sky. So that's what they do. Naturally, it's in slow motion, with a cover of Katy Perry's Firework playing in the background.
Baby, you're a firework. Come on, let your colors burn.
It's certainly an inspired ending. So much so that the real Kim Jong-un got involved and tried to bury The Interview from any kind of official release. Considering how this movie portrays North Korea's dictator, that kind of publicity is an unofficial badge of honor.
Boom, boom, boom. Even brighter than the moon.
Number 24, Jonah, The Green Inferno. Number 23, Alec Trevelyan, Goldeneye. Number 22, Deacon Frost, Blade. Number 21, Deputy Nick, Bone Tomahawk.
Nick, wake up!
Don't do this! Don't do this, please!
Nick! Wake up!
Number 20, Hawthorne Restaurant staff and guests, The Menu.
I love you all.
We love you, Chef!
This s'mores recipe is to die for. It starts off innocent enough with graham cracker crumbs, marshmallow sweaters, and hats made of chocolate. But the final step really sets it apart. To make sure the dish cooks fully through, you light up the whole restaurant. In layman's terms, these dinner guests don't get a menu. They are the menu. In a disturbing vow of solidarity, the chefs join in too. The sugary sadism ensures that this thriller ends with a distinctly bittersweet dessert. But one thing is for certain, it is one hell of a last meal. Number 19, Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots, The Last Wish.
And how many times have you died already?
Most of the time, you only get to see a character die once. Not Puss in Boots, though. He gives you 8 gloriously extreme deaths for the price of 1. The feline is trampled by bulls, crushed by his own deadlift, and shot out of a cannon. Another time, Puss tests the theory that cats always land on their feet.
God always lands on his feet. Watch!
To put it lightly, the results are less than satisfactory. Altogether, we see Puss lose 8 of his 9 lives in a rapid-fire montage that completely goes for broke. He won't be laughing in the face of death anymore, that's for sure.
And remember, Puss, death comes for us all.
Number 18, Velos Cohagen, Total Recall.
I'll blow this place up and be home in time for cornflakes.
After spending the entire film as a greedy dirtbag, Governor Velos Cohagen gets sent on a one-way trip to the uninhabitable surface of Mars. Turns out death by space suffocation isn't very pleasant. The man's entire face goes red and starts to blow up like a balloon, showcasing some of the very best practical effects the 90s had to offer. They still hold up, too. When you combine that artistic vision with Cohagen's unrestrained screams for help, you get a scene that perfectly toes the line between horrifying and ridiculous.
I didn't want it to end this way.
Number 17, Jupe and the Horse Show Spectators. Nope.
What we saw was a flying saucer, no doubt about that.
In horror films over the years, there have been alien abductions and there have been graphic deaths. But there's never been anything quite like what happens in Nope. Jupe's monetizing of a UFO sighting dooms everyone in attendance, and once he recognizes the mistake he's made, the horror in his eyes is simply unmatched. Nope doesn't stop at their abduction, though. Director Jordan Peele gives you an up-close and personal look at what happens inside the unidentified flying object. Calling it disturbing would be a massive understatement. Actually, there's only one word capable of summing this scene up, and that's nope.
Star Lasso experience. It's gonna change you.
Number 16, Thunder, Big Trouble in Little China.
I don't think he's gonna stop.
Introduced as a so-called elemental master, this guy brings the thunder by swelling up his body parts. That's all fine and dandy until he finds his former boss Lo Pan dead. Instead of working through his grief, Thunder starts growing. A lot. Feet, hands, face, you name it. It all swells up until the martial artist looks like a human bowling ball. These days, the image of Thunder's overinflated head is practically iconic, especially since, after all that, he just pops. As far as villain deaths go, this one personifies big trouble like no other.
It's all in the reflexes.
Number 15, Ocean Liner Passengers, Ghost Ship. Haven't you heard? There's a new trend sweeping the dance floor, and it's positively killer. If you need proof, just look at the opening scene of Ghost Ship. Everyone's laughing, dancing, and having a good time when suddenly a razor wire cuts in. A moment later, it's stained red on the other side of the dance floor. I'll let you connect the rest of the dots. This is the epitome of an elaborate horror set piece. Creative, efficient, and above all, bloody. While the rest of the film doesn't quite live up to the hype, many agree that this opening scene is pure campy fright at its finest. Number 14, Dr. Kananga, Live and Let Die.
I think you'll find those wounds quite fatal.
At the end of this spy flick, a Bond villain gets blown up. Just not the way you'd expect. During a tussle in Kananga's lair, 007 forces the double-crosser to swallow a compressed air capsule bullet. A second later, it's goodbye Kananga and hello oversized inflatable. Admittedly, the visual is a bit silly, but that just makes what follows even more entertaining. The balloon man rises to the top of the cavern and pops into oblivion. Exaggerated or not, it's an oddly fitting way for Kananga to go out. As Bond says himself,
well, he always did have an inflated opinion of himself.
Number 13, Candace Hooper, Final Destination 5.
Candace, now.
In a franchise known for its absurdly intricate death scenes, it's surprising that this one starts small. A nail on a balance beam, some dripping water near an electric fan. But when blended with shots of Candace's risky gymnastics maneuvers, the tension becomes almost too much to bear. It continues to build and build until, all at once, splat. Putting it nicely, Candace's landing earns a few deductions. Unless you have a stomach of steel, this wince-inducing descent is sure to keep you away from gymnastics for a very, very long time. Add it to the long list of things Final Destination has ruined for us.
Nicely done, Candace.
Number 12, Judge Doom, Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Remember me, Eddie?
No matter how sinister, most evildoers would throw in the towel after being flattened by a steamroller. But not Judge Doom. He doesn't know the meaning of the word quit, and as a reward for his dedication, he is melted by a puddle of tune-killing dip. It's not a particularly quick death either. It starts at Doom's feet and slowly works its way up, leaving enough time for actor Christopher Lloyd to chew a bit more scenery before he goes. Since he's clearly having a blast with the role, it's impossible to resist laughing along with this loony turn of events.
Boy, that acting, what a genius!
Number 11, Olga Ivanova, Suspiria.
Zuhören bitte. Keine Verletzung an Olga.
It may look graceful, but by the time Susie's dance is over, Olga is dead and it's all her fault. Unbeknownst to Susie, her act is contorting Olga's body, turning each move into a ballet of broken bones and grisly cries. There's shattered mirrors, bent limbs, and more spine-tingling imagery than most movies have in their whole runtime. Then, as if poor Olga hasn't suffered enough, the Academy's matrons appear and drag her corpse away. You can't deny the artistic merits of this lethal tango, but that doesn't make it easy viewing by any means.
Raus.
Number 10, Syndrome, The Incredibles.
This isn't the end of it!
At the end of the day, it's not the Omnidroid, any other soups, or even the Parr family that does Syndrome in for good. It's his cape. After a well-timed car toss destroys most of his plane, the mastermind and his flowing cloak are put right in the path of a high-speed jet turbine. Syndrome tries to claw away, but, well, there's a reason Edna Mode doesn't make supersuits with capes anymore.
Meta Man, Express Elevator, Dyna Guy, Snag on Takeoff, Splashdown, sucked into a vortex.
Syndrome's demise is, by and large, one of the most ferocious to come out of a Pixar film in a very long time. Maybe ever.
That was totally wicked!
Totally wicked indeed. Number 9, Dieter von Kuntz, MacGruber.
And do you, MacGruber, take Vicky Gloria's Saint Help?
When you crash a wedding with a rocket launcher, you deserve what's coming to you. In Dieter von Kuntz's case, that includes a grade A whooping from the one, the only MacGruber. Always one for dramatics, though. He isn't content just knocking Kuntz around. No, he fully pushes the miscreant off of a cliff, and then shoots him to bits, and then blows him up with a grenade. Oh, and for maximum disrespect, Kuntz's body gets a shower from MacGruber's yellow waterfall, too.
I do.
Number 8, William Clayton, Tarzan.
Rounding up your little ape family will be all too easy!
It's nighttime, lightning's flashing, and Clayton's got a machete in hand. The stage seems perfectly set for an epic final confrontation with Tarzan, but that's not what happens. Blinded by rage, the hunter hacks through every vine between him and the ape man. Well, all of them except for the one around his neck. By the time Clayton understands what he's done, it's already too late. Still, his terrified cries are just scratching the surface. The very worst part of Clayton's fall from grace is knowing he did it to himself. It is an exceedingly grim thought bound to stay with you long after the credits roll. Number 7, Belloc, Tote, and the Nazis, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Don't look at it. Shut your eyes, Murray, and don't look at it no matter what happens.
You know the saying, don't look a gift horse in the mouth? Well, obviously the same principle applies to ancient arks. Indy has the right idea closing his eyes. The assembled Nazis, however, were not so lucky.
Don't look right! Keep your eyes shut!
By opening the ancient artifact, they got treated to a face-melting show of fire, brimstone, and electrical currents. Raiders of the Lost Ark is technically rated PG, but the carnage here is straight out of an R-rated horror flick. On a brighter note, the Nazis' fate ironically speaks to yet another famous saying, you reap what you sow.
Beautiful!
Number 6, Vision, Avengers Infinity War.
It's time.
No.
With Thanos after the Infinity Stone in his head, Vision gives up his life to save half the universe. The issue? His beloved Wanda is the only one capable of destroying it. In a scene that should come with a box of tissues, Vision spends his final moments assuring Wanda they're making the right choice.
We are out of time.
And yet, it doesn't matter. Thanks to the Time Stone, Thanos undoes their heartbreak only to pry the artifact from Vision's skull anyway. The Avenger died twice, and half the universe went with him. In retrospect, all Vision's heroic sacrifice did was leave Wanda with twice the trauma to unpack.
But now is no time to mourn.
Number 5. Mrs. Tweety, Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget.
I think they're gonna need a bigger bouquet.
Mrs. Tweety can argue all she likes, but there is no denying these chickens got the last cluck. After narrowly escaping a gravy-induced death in the first film, the mischievous farmer returned in the sequel with a new evil plan: the dreaded chicken nugget.
Bye-bye. Again.
However, in a poetic turn of events, Tweety's the only one who ends up breaded around here. With some not-so-helpful nudges from the other chickens, she trips the factory security system too. Cue the lasers. Since the entire complex blows apart right after, it's safe to say Tweety's staying down for good this time.
Watch out for the,
Number 4. William Easton, Saw 6.
If you fail, you will never see your family again.
Insurance executive William goes through blood, sweat, and tears to survive Jigsaw's twisted game. But in the final round, it's not John Kramer who decides his fate. It's a family he previously denied life-saving health insurance to.
You're just giving me a death sentence. I mean, who's gonna cover me now?
The grieving clan chooses vengeance, and since this is a Saw movie, that means injecting William with acid and letting him burn. It's beyond sadistic. But then again, this is the same series that twists limbs on a rack and puts people in reverse bear traps. Whether Jigsaw's behind it or not, it's clear that the Saw franchise always delivers the gory goodness.
But I can assure you it is not without reason.
Number 3. Jesus Christ, The Passion of the Christ.
Mortus est! Ave procerto!
Adapting what is arguably the most prolific source material in existence, director Mel Gibson decided to treat the text as gospel. Well, more so than usual. In practice, that meant faithfully portraying Jesus' crucifixion, blood, guts, and all. Whether you're familiar with the religious context or not, the sheer amount of violence on display is genuinely difficult to sit through. Taking the subject matter into account, you can argue that it's supposed to feel excessive. But as a piece of cinema, it's hard to appreciate that messaging when you have to watch the scene through your fingers. Number 2. Allie, Terrifier 2. Art the Clown is not your average slasher villain, mainly because he doesn't just kill his victims, he butchers them. Allie, bless her soul, is stabbed, sliced, bent, torn, and broken in just about every single terrifying way imaginable. After that, yes, there's more, Art douses her in bleach and salt for no other reason than to watch her suffer. If you can't tell already, Allie's death is a tour de force of inordinate cruelty, and one that we obviously will not show in its entirety. Honestly, it's to the point that you can't even call it a murder anymore. No, this is a splatterfest through and through. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Kane, Alien.
One more meal before bedtime, I'm buying. Hey, that's a break.
The word chestburster has a legacy that speaks for itself, and all it takes is one viewing to see why. You can practically feel the dread in the air as Kane begins sputtering at the dining table. When you figure out what's happening, that dread turns into panic, and that panic into absolute horror. Using groundbreaking practical effects, there's never been anything quite as ghastly as the moment the alien pops out of Kane's chest. It's a good thing that no one can hear you scream in space, because something tells us this xenomorph has caused more than a few shrieks over the years.
How you doing? Terrific. Next silly question.
Which of these crazy deaths is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below.
That was pretty hardcore.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.